This video is brought to you by Ageless Geeks.
Cowabunga dudes and dudettes, this is Anthony, aka BatBomb82, and today I'll be doing my 140th Mezco Toyz 112 Collective action figure review, this time being of Wonder Woman. Now, taking a look at the front, we can see that the figure is showcased in the standard Mezco packaging, with the Wonder Woman name and logos at the center. Turning the box around, we can see multiple images and panels showcasing the figure in multiple posing positions with her different interchangeable parts and accessories. So with the box out of the way, let's crack this figure open and let her breathe. Alright guys, now here is the newest Wonder Woman, and I feel like we've been waiting a long time for this figure, so it's finally here, and I think she's pretty cool. Now you'll see my problems, pros and cons kind of thing. But overall, I think she's great. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in this figure right here. Now, this is the Gadot Wonder Woman that we got. This is the first Wonder Woman figure that we ever got in this line. And it's not good. There's so many problems with this figure. It is easily my most hated figure from the entire 112 Collective line. So, it was not good. However, last year, we actually did get a classic Wonder Woman, which was this one right here. Now this thing was gorgeous, man. I love the figure, the colors, the blue eyes, all the accessories was great. You could tell they really improved on the buck. Now comparing it to this one, it does look like if you utilize the same buck, which I'm okay with. It's still hindered in some areas, and I'll show you that shortly. But this is miles better than that original female buck they used for Gal Gadot, so I do like it a lot. And as you can see, it is pretty much a lot of the same use parts here. The face sculpts just look fantastic. Everything about the paint looks really good here. And I'll bring in this one. They are different head sculpts entirely. You can just tell by the brow, the lips, the jawline, everything about that is different. Of course, the hair is different. You got a lot shorter hair on the more classic version, where this one has much more longer flowing hair. A little bit of a blue wash on there. I think that looks really nice and subtle, so I dig that. This whole corset armor right here is exactly the same, just done in different colors. You have a lot more darker muted colors on this more newer one. The bracers are, of course, different like that. So you got these big gauntlets right here, which are really cool too. This one had the more like bikini underwear type trunks, but which are really cool still. But I love the skirt piece. I think the skirt piece just works a lot better for Wonder Woman. In my opinion, you got some stars painted on there and the different layers of that skirt piece. I think it look really cool. Then the boots are exactly the same right here, just done in different colors. Of course, you got that brighter red. And for this more modern one, they did add this more like knee section that they just kind of glued and attached to the top of the boot right there. So exactly the same, but still really cool. I do love the way this looks, man. The boots look great. There's a slight like wash, and you'll see some nicks and dings on there to make it look like they're actually like worn, torn, and seen battle. Same thing on like her breastplate area right here. You'll see little nicks and scratches and things like that. So you can tell it's not just a brand new armor. She's rocked this a few times. Same thing with the gauntlets right here. I think this thing looks really cool. So I'm very happy the way this looks. Aesthetically, she just looks totally badass, and I'm very pleased with this. Next up, let's talk the accessories now. Of course, we do get those awesome Mezco stands, which I always love. You get this really sweet Wonder Woman logo on there, just looking awesome and sharp. Love these stands, man. And then, of course, you get the clear articulate arm that comes with every Mezco figure, so I love that. We get a ton of stuff here, and I appreciate it. You also, of course, get different interchangeable hands, closed-fisted hands, different types of gripping hands. You got more loose, open palm hands and things like that. Everything you're going to need for holding all her different weapons and accessories, so I love that. So I'm going to put, actually, you know what? We also do have this little lasso right here that's all wound up. I think that's really cool, nice gold painted. Looks very nice. You can clip it right here onto this little leather strap that you can just unpeg like so, and then pin that into the little peg right there. I do notice it's a little tricky to get in or stay on there. When you're posing around, this might fall off or unlatch and then fall off on you, so you just got to get it back in there. So that's really cool, but still really nice. I love the way that looks. I'm gonna go ahead and put her back there. We also do get another lasso right here, which on the little bendy wire, which I think is really cool. I have it like the little points right here, so that's really nice. And you can just pose this around however you like. Again, it's on a bendy wire. You can move it, do whatever you need to, different directions, whatever you want. So I love the way that turned out. I wish it was a little longer though. This is a little shorter than I had hoped. So that's probably my only issue with this. I just wish it was longer. It just feels very short for an actual lasso. So there's that. We also, of course, do get her shield, which I think is super rad. I love this shield, man. Just the way it turned out looks really good. I love the colors, the red, blue, and golds. You can see some scratches and dents in it. That looks really good, too. Under here, just all gold, like pounded iron or something like that. The straps look really nice and painted. You even got the silver divots in there. I think that's really cool. How this is going to work, you're going to have to remove the hands like this. And it's mostly meant for the left arm. You can see the loops are different sizes, so you're going to slide that through like that and then put the hand on. So you can do something like this and try to do it on camera like that. So that's how that's going to hold on, and it works out good. You'll see some poses later on with some pictures, but I do like the way it turned out, and it holds on there really good, man. It doesn't feel loose, so that's a really solid shield, so I dig that. Okay, putting her back here. Now, we get a lot of the same weapons and things like that we've seen with the previous Wonder Woman. So you have her sword right here, which I think is really nice. I love the sculpt of that. You kind of have the eagle wings like that with the W's in there. All that looks really good. Here's the one that came with the more classic Wonder Woman. You can see the colors are completely different and much more brighter, vibrant colors with a classic Wonder Woman. But it's still the same sculpt, and they all look really, really good. Same thing with the spear here. You got the more modern spear. Really sharp look. I love the blade. That edge looks so good. The different handles like that. The pike at the end. Again, here is the more classic one that came with the classic Wonder Woman. You got brighter handles, brighter golds, but still exact same sculpt, just different colors, which is really nice. Also bring in the axe right here. The axe looks really good too. Nice heavy axe. I love all the scratches and dents in there. That looks really cool too. And I'm going to bring in the more classic axe right here, which was much more brighter. It had blue in there, the red handle, the brighter golds and silvers. Just love these axes. I love the way they look. Again, same sculpt, just different colors. That's all you really needed. Next up, I'm going to show off the armor bits here, because we do get extra armor bits, which is really cool, so I love that. I'm going to take off that lasso right there, because that thing's going to constantly be attached or detaching as I'm posing this around. Oh, another thing noted, you do get a little leather strap right here to holster different weapons. So you could get, like I like to do for this particular one, I like to take the axe and just holster the axe. You can actually just slide it through like that. Boom. And she'll holster the axe right there. You can put the sword through there, or pretty much anything you really need. So it works out pretty good. And it's just kind of tight trying to get off. So just be very careful. I'm always weary about like tearing certain things on soft goods. So just be very careful. It'll work out fine. Anyways, so here are some extra armor bits that I really think are pretty cool here. And this is something that was a definite good addition to this particular figure. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to take off the head entirely. It's just on a simple ball peg. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on this really cool like neck piece. And you're kind of just slide that over the neck like so, and it'll go on there nice and tight, so it works on there. And unfortunately, I have a black gash right here of paint. I'm pretty sure it's from the hair in the package, so I'm gonna have to like nail polish remover that off, so it just buff right out. It's not a big problem, so it's not actually scratched, it's just some paint wear, so it's a little bit of ding on there. So anyways, now I'm going to put the head back on, but I'm going to put on the new head, which is a little more of an angry head, so I think that's really cool. So you have a more neutral one that comes in the package like this, but we also do get a more angry head with the mouth a little open and the teeth showing. And usually teeth on a Mezco figure can be hit and miss sometimes. They could be a little chiclet looking, but this looks great. It's very subtle, and the brow and the stern look on her face, she just looks pissed, and I'm all about that, man. That looks great. Then you're going to go ahead and take these little armor bits here. They're going to kind of fit around her biceps like that, like so. And then take another one right here. Boom, like this. And then boom. And now you have like a really entirely new look for Wonder Woman, which I think looks so killer. That is badass, man. That is a really freaking cool looking Wonder Woman. I love it so much. That really adds a lot. I am definitely going to be displaying her with this extra armor. I just think it looks super cool, so I love the way it looks. Now, when you're posing this around and moving the arms around, these are going to kind of get in the way, and they might fall off, so just be aware of that. But once you have her posed around and something that you like and things, you can just maneuver these around, and they'll stay there. But still, they look really good. They're just a little bit of a pain in the butt when you're actually posing them around. But still, very freaking rad, man. That is just so cool. That is one of the coolest looking Wonder Woman figures, in my opinion, that I've ever owned. Next up, we get these really cool little bullet effect pieces, which I think are pretty rad. Now, these are for attaching to her gauntlets and things like that, so she could do the deflecting of the bullets. And I just think this is super cool, man. I love the way this turned out. They're just done by little magnets in there, and you can see, like, right there, you can see how they have the little silver bits painted from, like, the bullet shards, you know, reflecting off her bracers. I think that is so freaking awesome. You'll see pictures with all that stuff later, but I love that, man. That's a cool addition to this piece, because that's an iconic thing, man. She blocks bullets with her bracers. I think that's really cool. And then the final accessory is going to be this really gorgeous, beautiful, badass cape. I love the color here. The fabric is really nicely done. I love the little gold embroidery that we get here. That is just so nice. I love that. You're going to have to take the head off just via the ball peg and slide that over like so, and then put the head back on. And now you have Wonder Woman rocking a really nice cape, man. So I love the way that looks. I do... Oops, excuse me, my light is falling over there. We did get a blue one with the classic Wonder Woman cape, so you do have that. And you can always swap these out if you wanted to, but I love the way these came out. They just work very nicely. You got the different patterns on there, but still really cool seeing these side by side, man, because they really are completely different than I really thought they were going to be. So it's really nice having both. But man, again, this cape really adds a whole dynamic, and just, again, the look of it, the fabric of it, and there's a bendy wire throughout that, so I love that. You can pose it around and bend it and do different things. You can make it more like windswept off to the side, however you want, so I think that works out very nicely. Okay, so now let's check out the articulation here, because I think that's what everyone's biggest concern is when it comes to the Mezco female figures. The head is on a ball joint, of course, rolls around very nicely, does turn left and right. It is hindered by the long hair a bit, so it's going to kind of look down once the hair starts hitting like the shoulders and stuff, up and down a bit, and kind of wobble side to side. So it's okay, not bad. That's kind of to be expected with long hair on pretty much any figure, you know what I mean? The arms can go full 360 like so, up and out that far. That's actually pretty good, so I love the range there. We do got a single bend at the elbow that bends just past 90, so that's really nice. We can rotate at the elbow. We got rotation at the wrist as well as a hinge at the wrist, so that works out pretty good. We do get a ball peg in the torso area right here, and I'll have to show this. Let me take the head off. You can kind of see, and I'm going to pull the ball peg out of there. So there is an actual ball peg in there, so you can like roll this around. But what it is the actual corset here is actually glued to her breast area. So that's actually going to be like a solid piece. I do wish they would go ahead and cut this area here on under the breast and then attach that separately so we can get more motion out of the torso. And again, there is a ball peg there. You can clearly see it. But once it's pegged all the way in there, you're not going to get a whole lot of motion with this at all. You'll get a little bit of a waist swivel and a little bit of pivoting, crunching back and forth, kinda. But I mean, it's not going to be a whole lot. You just see the simple like ball peg kind of rolling around in there. So again, that's probably going to be my biggest complaint, is I wish there was more actual torso articulation. So yeah, man, that's one thing they need to work on, the design. And I get why they wanted to keep the integrity of the sculpt here when it comes to her breastplate. I get it, but I would have probably preferred the actual articulation over that. So hip joints can kick forward about that far, wish it was a little higher, back about that much, splits all the way out, which is really nice. Just nothing extra down there, just a simple crotch piece like that painted. We get rotation in the upper thigh. We get a single bend at the knee that bends up that far, so that's actually really good. So there is about 90 like so, and then it bends up more like that. So that's actually really good. And then it does actually rotate a little bit on that peg, same knee. Then the ankles are on ball joints. Those roll around very nicely up and down, and a pretty sweet ankle rocker. And those have helped out a lot with the posing. So I really appreciate those. So overall, I think this is a good, solid piece, man. Now, is it the best female figure to date from Mezco? Of course it is. Since this figure came out, I was very impressed with the updates of this because a lot of females were just garbage, too tight, things were breaking, but this was a definite upgrade. And since this is utilizing that same buck, I appreciate it. I still feel that they need to make improvements on the female body. That's just my personal opinion, but I still think it's a great figure. It is definitely the best female figure to date. It is definitely their best Wonder Woman, depending on your taste, if you like a more modern via the classic look. But the sculpt, the paint, the soft goods, even though they're minimal, but all the accessories, man, the extra armor is so dope. So I think this is a badass piece. Oh, and one thing I do want to show you before I get into it, as far as articulation goes, boom, boom, boom. She can cross her arms, people. That was a big thing that was wrong with the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. She could not cross her arms. This one can do it, which I love. And again, you'll see some poses later on. So that really helps with the articulation there. So again, it's better than we've seen before with a lot of other previous female figures. So it is, I guess, the best. But that bar was not very high. Let's be real. But again, I love it. I think you would love it. I think this is just a great Wonder Woman figure overall and an absolute must get. So for a quick size comparison, here she is standing next to a Marvel Legends Deadpool and McFarlane Batman figure. Also for comparison, here she is standing next to the other two Mezco Wonder Womans from my collection. And for even more comparison, here he is standing next to the Mezco 112 Collective Hela and Harley Quinn. And just for fun, here she is with little Lego Bat Bomb. So there it is, guys, my review of the Mezco Wonder Woman. Now overall, I think this is a really badass piece, and I think they are getting better with their female figures, but honestly, they still have some ways to go with these bucks. We really do want double jointed elbows and knees. I do like the soft goods and all the accessories. The paint is gorgeous. The sculpts of the face I think are fantastic. I love everything that we get here. It's actually really well done. It's a beautiful figure. But some of the things like the hindrance of absolutely no ab crunch or torso articulation whatsoever, because of the fact of the glue being there to the breast area, is a little awkward. But man, I still love this piece even with those problems. She just looks so badass. The cape is beautiful. I love the extra armor bits that we're getting. The skirt piece looks rad. All the weapons are super well done. She's just overall a sweet looking figure. I absolutely love Wonder Woman. And honestly, for me, this is one of the best Wonder Woman figures that I've ever owned in this scale. And man, I've owned a ton over the years. So if you can totally afford this, I think she's worth it. Yes, again, it's not the best figure that you're going to get from Mezco. Again, they have some things they need to work out, but still, if you're just looking for a badass Wonder Woman piece, then I think this Mezco version is definitely a must get. So please comment, like, and subscribe. Stay nerdy, my friends. Peace.